The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
That quote is actually from Bob Woodward's new book, War, page 179, where Mark Milley corners Bob Woodward at a large reception in Washington in a room crowded with people and has a very private one-on-one conversation with him, telling Bob Woodward this about Donald Trump, the president Mark Milley worked for. "He is the most dangerous person ever. I had suspicions when I talked to you about his mental decline and so forth, but now I realize he's a total fascist. He is the most dangerous person to this country, a fascist to the core." Milley repeated to me, "I will never forget the intensity of his worry." Bob, when you began your work, or maybe at any time, trying to imagine a chairman of the Joint Chiefs telling you that a former president is a fascist and a danger to this country is just inconceivable.
Well, and then he proved it,
yes.
and events prove it. I mean, there are so many in the Middle East. Netanyahu, at one point, 4 days after the Hamas attack into Israel, is so worried about Hezbollah, he wants to launch a preemptive attack on Hezbollah. And the language which I have, it's really look at Biden. You see Biden say, no, 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 calm down, think it through. We need to work this out. We need to be careful. And of course, they did not, but they came so close to launching.
The Biden trip to Israel that we all saw was almost canceled because of this.
Yes.
And Biden had to say to Blinken, tell them I won't come if they don't get on board with where we are on this.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the tension and the risk of this all exploding and getting out of control, because no one was in control. Everyone had their interest here, and Biden was, Mr. Let's tamp it down. We need to sit and we need to get together. We need to work. This is and at this situation, what's Israel wanting to do? What is Netanyahu want to do? Let's start a massive war.
Yeah, and that's where Biden thought, okay, Netanyahu is in the fog of war now. He's not making the right decisions. And he just forced him to his view of where they had to be on that day, and then has spent, including in his first trip to Israel, immediately talking about de-escalating, do not overreact, do not make our mistakes that we made both in Vietnam and in Iraq. Don't overreact to this. That's a repeated theme. And also hostage release. That was all driven. Every hostage release was driven by President Biden. There was no movement. In this book, there's no movement on the Israeli side trying to achieve hostage release.
Yes, but I mean, what's so interesting is Biden, I mean, you see that the hostage issue is at the spine of his, we've got to handle that, I'll handle that, and his aides are trying, Biden saying, no, I'm responsible for the hostages, which of course in the public world and in the political world he is. He tries to, there's some movement, they get some deals fall apart, and you see the real world of national security risk that they are living in. And I would, quite frankly, reporting it, surprised at how risky it was. And there was no predetermined outcome here. And if this spun out of control, we still see it could happen any day, any hour.
And also getting relief into Gaza, getting food, getting supplies, getting medical supplies into Gaza was entirely driven by the Biden administration. Here was Bibi Netanyahu's position on any relief going into Gaza at all. not a drop, not an ounce of anything will go into Gaza to help people. That's where he started. That's where the negotiations started with Netanyahu. President and vice president both had to move him on that.
And, well, they had to make the argument, said, no, wait a minute. You will create a human disaster. And quite frankly, Biden and Vice President Harris are always worried about that humanitarian disaster. And it's not taken seriously by Netanyahu, at least in the early stages, but he's adjusted. Now, the issue to think about is who is going to control this? What could happen? When does it explode? The end of this show, it could just say, you know, wait a minute, we're going with this, we're going with that. You've got Putin in Russia just threatening to use tactical nuclear weapons, and they tried to talk him out of it, and up to a point they do. But the reason, and again, you have to get into the complications of how Russia thinks. And Russian doctrine is if there is cataclysmic battlefield failure, in other words, if our forces are really losing, we can use tactical nuclear weapons. In fact, that's almost an obligation. So there are moments that are very worrisome because 30,000 troops have been surrounded in Ukraine, and this is going to be this battlefield catastrophe.
The scene you describe in this book in Israel, where there's 110 rockets coming in from Iran, the first direct attack, they're intercepted with a coalition that includes Arab neighbors helping the United States and Israel intercept those rockets so that they end up doing no real damage. But there's
the rockets, the 200 rockets that Iran has sent.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
And no one knew that they'd even be capable of stopping them all when they were coming, but they pulled it off.
We and our allies in the Middle East have a very good defense program. But imagine...
The scene of Brett McGurk watching that on a screen in the White House,
he's the Middle
watching
East coordinator
watching
for
those missiles come at Israel is really stunning.